Hello and welcome to DanCast's Fancast. On today's episode, I'll be reviewing the newest DCEU installment, Shazam. If you're new to my channel, consider leaving me a thumbs up and subscribing. Each week I do a themed DC giveaway, so be sure to check that out. This week's themed giveaway is a $10 AMC gift card, just in time for the theatrical release of Shazam on April 5th. So I just got out of the early screening of Shazam, and I want to start out by saying that there was a lot of laughter. The movie definitely knew what it wanted to be, and it was self-aware enough to know what it was. That being said, the movie was many things. It was light and funny, and it was really a whole lot of fun, but it was evenly mixed with dark humor and what younger audiences might find scary. However, these moments always pull back just in the right time to add some levity. Now, don't get me wrong, this movie does push some boundaries. From the first scene in the movie with Sivana's father, you really aren't sure if you're going to see something too graphic or not. And then later in the film, Sivana goes full-blown homicidal. There are even a few innuendos regarding Shazam's staff and a gentleman's club that makes 2 appearances in the film. With this mixed bag of a movie, it's honestly crazy to say that it all worked really well and it was very cohesive. Each scene really makes sense and it adds to the story, just moving the story along. And by the end, I kind of felt like it ended too soon. And it's like they say, time flies when you're having fun. So this is a spoiler warning now. If you do not want a play-by-play of the movie, I suggest that you do not continue watching. The movie immediately started out with a greeting from what the cast called the Shazamly, and no DC movie intro as seen in the previous entries. So let me know if this was the case when you saw it or when you see the movie. I'm just curious to why it wasn't in the intro. The film opens up with Christmas music and we meet a young Thaddeus Sivana, shaking about a magic 8-ball and only getting unwanted responses, setting up the character as a magic enthusiast, or at the very least, a superstitious kid who truly believes in magic. John Glover, who plays Sivana's father, DC fans will recognize as the Riddler in Batman the Animated Series, Swamp Thing villain Dr. Jason Woodrow from Batman and Robin, and Lex Luthor's father, Lionel, from Smallville. Now, a lot happens right off the bat, and we get a Mr. Mind close-up cameo encased in a jar when entering the Rock of Eternity. Additionally, the 7 deadly sins are introduced, and they attempt to intrigue Sivana, to which he considers, and the wizard Shazam realizes the young boy is not pure of heart, and casts him out of the Rock of Eternity. The story's now set up all in this one initial scene, that the wizard's growing weak, Dr. Sivana's interests lie in gaining power, and the 7 deadly sins are attempting to escape their imprisonment. Next, we get a scene of Billy getting lost in a crowd from his mother at a fair as a young child, followed by a present-day Billy who is having some fun with some cops so he can search for his mother using their database. He eventually gets picked up by the police and taken to a social worker for relocation to a new home, where he meets the Vasquez couple, and he becomes another one of their foster children. Meanwhile, present-day Sivana is searching for people who claim to have had an encounter with the wizard Shazam, disguised as a mass hallucination research outfit. Sivana's cued off to how entering the Rock of Eternity works with a special order of magic symbols that open the entrance to the Rock of Eternity. After re-entering the Rock of Eternity, Sivana takes this orb called the Eye, and he absorbs its power, which grants him the ability to see magic. He battles with the wizard, weakening him enough that the imprisoned deadly sins are released and use Sivana as a vessel to escape. And by the way, with his newfound power, Sivana is all out of bubblegum and throwing people out of high-rises. Arriving at the Velasquez's house, Billy meets his new family, which he often reminds them and the audience that they're not his family, and he has a mom who he is looking for. He's a bit of a jerk, but he's not completely irredeemable. He does defend his not family from some bullies, which immediately leads to Billy discovering the Rock of Eternity for himself, and the wizard granting him his powers, but not before the wizard shares his experience giving his powers away. He tells a short, cautionary tale about corrupt power, and we see Black Adam formed out of an orange glowing magic. I note that some people are saying that it's either too blurry to tell or that his face isn't clearly shown, but it was recognizably a CG rendered image of the Rock. Then we get an awkward but humorous touch the wizard's staff joke. Billy then seeks the advice of Freddy's superhero knowledge database, and hilarity ensues in a fun montage of sorts of Billy discovering his powers. By the way, the kids in the movie attend Fawcett High School, which is a nod to the original location of Captain Marvel's fictional setting, Fawcett City. In the movie, they're in Philadelphia. He's fresh off his role in It Part 1 as a member of the Losers Club, and in my opinion, the best actor in this movie. He has great energy, comedic timing, and genuine reactions to his co-stars. And my favorite part in the film is an argument Billy and Freddy have about how to responsibly use power, and Billy accuses Freddy of being jealous, to which Freddy gives a heartfelt response and really gets to shine as a dramatic actor in the scene. I feel what makes this character the best character and actor in the movie is the range he's given to perform, to which he pulls it off. You not only sympathize for him, but you laugh with him. And he gives the audience a character to experience how he feels being a part of the DC superhero fandom, right along with the fans. Shazam showing off his powers inadvertently sends a bus flying over the edge of an overpass. Billy decides he's now a man in Shazam form, so he can run away. He can do what he wants and earn money by charging people to help them as a hero. A big part of the story lies in Billy's reluctance in accepting the family that he's given and that wants him as a family member, and they make many efforts. In this scene, we have the all hands on deck phrase, which is the epitome of the foster and representative of the movie's overall theme. When Billy returns home, his foster siblings give him the location of his foster mom, and he goes in search of her, only to be disappointed that she did not really lose him, but intentionally left him. Now, I've seen other reviews say that Asher Angel's performance isn't as good as they would have hoped, but honestly, his character is the most grounded, realistic character in the movie. So because of the argument between Shazam and Freddy was televised, Dr. Sivana assesses that Shazam is Billy and attacks his foster family. Now, this is important because even though we established that Billy doesn't believe that they are family, he has defended them before from the school bullies. So we know he doesn't like injustices and has a soft spot for orphans. After learning his mom is a selfish loser, he chooses the family that chose him and races to their rescue. All of the DCEU references are relished in this movie, and the Ben Affleck batarang is actually a plot device in the next scene when they discover Sivana's weaknesses. And this is where the movie takes another turn. Sivana sends each deadly sin to capture each of the foster children, while he Man of Steel Zod fights with Shazam. As some have already stated, the CGI is hit and miss, and Shazam looks really rubbery in some scenes, while looking amazing in others. I will say each time the 7 deadly sins dissipate into smoke and accumulate to empower Sivana, it looks awesome. At the big end battle at the carnival, Dr. Sivana demands Shazam forfeit his power, and Shazam is reminded of touching the wizard's staff yet again, and his words about full potential, to which he gets the idea to divvy up his abilities among his foster family, all hands on deck style, and they become the self-titled Shazamly. Like all the DCU movies so far, the child to adult actors are perfect. Like young Diana and Wonder Woman, young Clark, Bruce, and Arthur. The kids match their adult counterparts to a T. And this movie is no exception. So in the end, family prevails and they defeat Sivana and the enemies of man. And they all return home where Billy leads the family in an all hands on deck dinner ritual, cementing that he has accepted his family. Now the movie for me ended on such a high note that the surprise ending was a huge disappointment for me. As many of us know, Henry Cavill's future in the DCU is in flux, and until he's contractually signed on to continue his bout as the Man of Steel, he could not be seen from the neck up. So the camera trails the Man of Steel from the floor up, and the screen goes black when they reach his shoulders. So while everybody else was cheering for Superman, I was feeling like it was just confirmed that Henry Cavill may not be returning. So to Warner Brothers, I say hashtag go Henry or go home. There are 2 post-credit scenes, and the second of which is already in the previews. The China preview to be specific, where there is another meta joke about Aquaman talking to fish. Why they shared that already is beyond me, and I felt like it was a poor choice because it lost that feeling of anticipation to see what they have in store, or a letdown for those who stayed until the end of the movie and for the long haul. And the first post-credit scene is in Dr. Sivana's cell, where Mr. Mind enters through a window, hearkening more adventures yet to come. So the movie seriously ends and begins with Mr. Mind. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comments section down below when you're going to see the movie or if you've seen it already, and we can converse back and forth. If any of you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.